Most people don't understand the secret behind asterisk true millionaire investing asterisk asterisk and end up repeating mistakes that keep them from financial freedom. What you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about money. Imagine having access to a strategy used by the world's wealthiest, yet hardly anyone talks about. It's not about luck, inheritance, or hard work alone. There's an asterisk asterisk hidden pattern that multiplies their money while yours sits stagnant. Are you ready to uncover what banks and gurus won't tell you? The answer may lie in asterisk one single principle that separates average investors from true. What if you knew this secret doesn't require a huge initial investment, but rather a shift in mindset? Stay until the end, because today could be the day that transforms your financial future. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel asterisk asterisk. Wealth starts here. Here's the thing most people don't realize. The average person approaches investing like they're gambling at a casino. They hear about someone who made a fortune on GameStop or Bitcoin, and suddenly they're throwing their life savings at the next hot tip. But wealthy individuals, they think completely differently about money and risk. The rich understand that building wealth isn't about hitting home runs every single time. Instead, they focus on getting on base consistently, knowing that small, steady gains compound into massive fortunes over decades. While everyone else is chasing get-rich-quick schemes, millionaires are quietly building portfolios that'll still be growing when their grandchildren inherit. Most folks treat investing like a sprint when it's actually a marathon. They panic when the market dips, sell at the worst possible moment, then jump back in when prices are high again. Meanwhile, those with real money see market downturns as shopping opportunities, times when quality companies go on sale for bargain prices. Now here's where things get really interesting. Millionaires don't spread their wealth evenly across different types of investments like most people think. They follow what you could call the 80-20 rule, but it's not what financial advisors typically teach. The wealthy put roughly 80% of their money into rock-solid, proven investments that have been making people rich for generations. This isn't about playing it safe out of fear. It's about being smart with the bulk of your wealth while still having room to take calculated risk. Think of it like Warren Buffett's approach. He's got the majority of his fortune in companies like Apple, Coca-Cola, and American Express, businesses that aren't going anywhere anytime soon. These aren't sexy picks, but they're the foundation that allows him to sleep well at night. The remaining 20%. That's where the magic happens, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now, understand that rich people protect their money first, then they grow it. They'd rather miss out on the next big thing than lose what they've already built, because once you've got a solid foundation, that's when you can afford to take some swings. So what exactly makes up that 80% foundation we just talked about? Blue chip stocks, those boring, reliable companies that have been around for decades and aren't going anywhere. We're talking about household names like Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, and McDonald's. These companies have survived recessions, wars, and every market crash you can think of, yet they keep chugging along. The wealthy love these stocks because they're predictable in an unpredictable world. When you buy shares of Coca-Cola, you're not just buying a beverage company. You're buying a piece of a global empire that sells over 19 billion drinks every single day. Rain or shine, people are going to keep buying Coke, which means steady profits and reliable dividends flowing into your account year after year. Here's what separates the rich from everyone else. They're not looking for the next Amazon or Tesla when it was just starting out. They're buying Amazon and Tesla now, after these companies have already proven they can dominate their markets. Sure, the explosive growth days might be behind them, but that's exactly the point. Wealth preservation comes first, and these blue-chip giants deliver exactly that. Now here's where millionaires get really smart about their money. They don't just buy stocks and hope they go up in value. They focus heavily on dividend-paying stocks, which means these companies literally send them checks every quarter just for owning their shares. It's like having a rental property, except instead of dealing with broken toilets and late-night phone calls, you're getting paid to do absolutely nothing. Take someone who owns $500,000 worth of dividend stocks with an average yield of 4%. That person is collecting $20,000 every single year without lifting a finger, money that can either be reinvested to buy more shares or used to cover living expenses. The wealthy understand that this passive income stream is what eventually sets them free from having to work for money, because the money starts working for them instead. Companies like Realty Income Corporation, nicknamed the Monthly Dividend Company, have been paying shareholders every single month for over 25 years straight. Imagine getting a dividend check in your mailbox, more often than your electric bill arrives. That's the kind of reliable wealth-building machine that millionaires stuff their portfolios with, while everyone else is still trying to pick the next hot stock that might double overnight. Remember that 20% we talked about earlier. This is where wealthy investors let their hair down and actually take some real risks. But here's the key difference. They only risk money they can afford to lose completely. It's like going to Vegas with your entertainment budget, not your mortgage payment. The rich know that this small slice of their portfolio is where the real magic can happen, but they never bet the farm on it. This high-risk portion might include emerging market stocks, cryptocurrency, startup investments, or even individual growth stocks that haven't proven themselves. Think of someone like Mark Cuban, investing in early-stage companies on Shark Tank. He's not putting his entire fortune into these deals, just enough to potentially hit a home run, while knowing most of them might strike out completely. The beautiful thing about this approach is that when you've got 80% of your wealth safely growing in reliable investments, you can afford to be aggressive with that remaining 20%. If a risky investment doubles or triples, it can significantly boost your overall returns. But if it goes to zero, well, you've still got the vast majority of your money working steadily in those boring, profitable companies we talked about earlier. Here's where things get absolutely mind-blowing. Compound interest is the secret weapon that turns ordinary people into millionaires and millionaires into billionaires. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world, and once you see how it works, you'll understand. It's not just about earning interest on your money, it's about earning interest on your interest, which then earns more interest, creating this beautiful snowball effect that builds wealth exponentially. Let's break this down with real numbers that'll make your jaw drop. If you invest $10,000 at age 25, and earn an average 10% return annually, which is roughly what the S&P 500 has delivered historically, that money grows to over $452,000 by age 65. But here's the kicker. If you wait until age 35 to invest that same $10,000, you'll only have about $174,000 at retirement. That 10-year delay cost you nearly $280,000. The wealthy understand this math intimately, which is why they start investing early and never stop. They know that time is literally money when compound interest is involved. While everyone else is waiting for the perfect moment to start investing, rich people are already decades into the compounding process, watching their wealth multiply automatically. Now here's something that'll probably surprise you. Millionaires don't spend their days glued to stock charts trying to predict market movements. They've learned one of the most valuable lessons in investing. It's nearly impossible to consistently time the market, and trying to do so usually makes you poorer. Instead, they focus on time in the market, staying invested through thick and thin, while everyone else is jumping in and out based on fear and greed. Consider this sobering reality. If you missed just the 10 best trading days in the stock market between 1993 and 2013, your returns would have been cut in half. The problem is, nobody knows which days those will be until after they've already happened. Millionaires solve this dilemma by simply staying invested all the time, capturing every single one of those explosive up days that create long-term. The wealthy have also figured out that market crashes aren't disasters, they're opportunities in disguise. When COVID-19 hit in March 2020 and everyone was panicking, rich investors were quietly buying quality stocks at fire sale prices. Those who stayed calm and kept investing during that scary time saw incredible returns as markets recovered. That's the difference between reacting to markets and understanding them. Here's where conventional wisdom gets turned upside down. While financial advisors preach extreme diversification, truly wealthy investors actually concentrate their money in fewer, higher quality. Warren Buffett famously said, "Diversification is protection against ignorance." It makes little sense if you know what you are doing. The rich would rather own 20 excellent companies they understand deeply than 200 mediocre ones they know nothing. This doesn't mean putting all your eggs in one basket. That's just gambling. Instead, wealthy investors focus their portfolios on maybe 15-30 high-quality stocks across different sectors, allowing them to really know their investments inside and out. They'd rather own substantial positions in companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Berkshire Hathaway than tiny slivers of hundreds of random stocks that they can't possibly track effectively. The key is smart concentration, not reckless concentration. Rich people still spread their wealth across different industries. They might own tech giants, healthcare companies, consumer staples, and financial services firms. But within each sector, they pick the absolute best companies and buy meaningful stakes in them. This approach allows them to benefit more dramatically when their carefully chosen investments perform well, while still maintaining enough diversification to sleep soundly. Money is emotional, but wealthy investors have mastered the psychology of investing in ways that separate them from everyone else. While the average person lets fear and greed drive their decisions, buying high when everything looks great and selling low when panic sets in, millionaires have developed an almost robotic discipline that keeps them focused on their long-term strategy, no matter what's happening. The rich understand that their biggest enemy isn't market volatility or economic uncertainty, it's their own emotion. They've trained themselves to see market crashes as sales events rather than reasons to panic. When their portfolio drops 20% in value, they don't lose sleep wondering if they should sell everything. Instead, they're calculating how much more they can afford to invest while prices are low. Here's a secret weapon that wealthy investors use. They automate as much as possible to remove emotion from the equation entirely. They set up automatic investments that buy stocks every month regardless of market conditions, and they rarely check their portfolio balances during volatile periods. By removing the temptation to make emotional decisions, they ensure that compound interest and time can work their magic without interference from human psychology. So now you know the secrets, but knowledge without action is worthless, and that's where most people fail. The wealthy don't wait for perfect conditions or until they have huge amounts of money to start investing. They begin with whatever they have, even if it's just $100 a month, because they understand that starting small is infinitely better than not starting at all. Your first move should be opening a brokerage account with a reputable firm like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab, where you can buy individual stocks and ETFs with zero commission. Start by building that 80% foundation with index funds that track the S&P 500, something like VOO or SPY, which instantly gives you ownership in America's 500 largest companies. Then gradually add individual blue-chip dividend stocks like those we discussed earlier. The most important thing is to start now, not next month or next year when you think you'll have more money or knowledge. Remember that $10,000 invested at 25 versus 35. Every day you delay is costing you thousands in compound interest. Rich people became wealthy not because they had special advantages, but because they understood these principles and acted on them consistently over time. The only question left is, will you join them or will you keep making excuses? You've just discovered the same strategies that have created more millionaires than any other approach in history. But here's the brutal truth. Most people who watch this video will do absolutely nothing with this knowledge. They'll nod along, feel inspired for a moment, then go back to their old habits of spending everything they earn and hoping someone else will take care of their financial future. So let me ask you something that could change everything. What's your excuse going to be 5 years from now when you're still in the same financial position you're in? Will you blame the economy, your salary, or bad luck? Or will you look back and realize that today was the day you had all the information you needed, but you chose not to act on it? The wealthy didn't get rich by accident. They got rich by doing exactly what you now know how to do. The only difference between you and them is that they started and they stayed consistent. Your future self is either going to thank you for taking action today or regret that you let another opportunity slip away. If you're ready to stop making excuses and start building real wealth, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. We're going to keep sharing the strategies, mindset, and specific investments that separate the wealthy from everyone else. Your financial freedom doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design. And that design starts with your very next decision.